So because I do take a little longer than most in promoting students from belt to belt, I feel like I am seeing some progression in their
Mm,
jujitsu. I'm a little quick on the first two stripes, and then I take a little longer for stripe 3 and 4. And then, I feel like my expectations are consistent, and they generally have been. Um, I would say that most of my students, for example, stay at their belts longer than whatever the IBJJF says, which some people don't even care about. They don't even care about that. But I think that for me is progression, and it's just like the belt, just progression and attitude. You
When
know
you
what I
say
mean?
progression, are you saying like technical wise, rolling wise?
Technique, yeah, and then being able to apply their tech as they develop their game, right?
Mm,
They're especially with like purple belt and above. What I like to see is, okay, technically speaking, somebody has somebody is they have an idea of every position, right? If we're talking about just like closed guard, a form of open guard, side control, top bottom,
mm,
passing the guard, back, mount, half guard. And then they have like, especially purple belt and above, and I know we're not talking about that, but they have a game. And I think that you start to develop a game at blue belt. So I just want to see some consistency with technique around the end of a white belt in order to be promoted to the next level, blue belt. And so the stripes for me is just is some technical progression, and then being able to apply um, their technique live.
okay.
Even if they have an idea what they're doing, but they're not successful with it. But if they have an idea what they're doing,
I mean, we can watch like I feel like students don't understand like the coach is watching you. Okay, we see what you're trying to do. Okay, maybe you didn't get it, but it was kind of close. Like, oh, let's try a good tip.
right?
But then like there's students they don't use any technique, and you're like, why didn't I get promoted? And it's like, dude, you didn't use anything I showed you or any technique. You just use muscle, and then
Right.
they get upset.
And relative to that, so and you and I had this conversation recently, and then we had you're aware I promoted a couple of guys. I
Mm-hmm.
promoted a blue belt last week, and I promoted a purple belt last week. Um, and the purple belts and the blue belt, for sure, the purple belt may end up watching this, and so he's gonna know who he is, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so he this guy he's Tyler McLeese. He wrestled at West Point.
Mm,
He's
okay.
wrestled nearly his whole life. Guy is tough. He's like 200 pounds.
Mm,
He's really tough. He's very, very athletic. So for Tyler, he can out wrestle anybody, and even like like people that outrank him. He can do a good job playing top and keeping them on their back. But that's in his wheelhouse. That's not necessarily it's grappling, but it's not jujitsu in its pure form.
yeah.
So I've held him back quite some time because I wanted to see him develop um, a grappling game that was more jujitsu based and a little less wrestling based. I'm not saying that I'm trying to change his game or his pace or his style or anything. I just want to be able to see him do more jujitsu
Mm-hmm.
and not just run around somebody's legs and then
So
hold them down.
you mean like more guard work?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yes, top and bottom. Passing the guard, and then even and he has been so open-minded to that, and he's been trying to play a lot more bottom
Mm,
for a long time, and he's got an idea of it. But I mean, it's just hard. Like he did really, really well at the Orlando Open, gi and no gi. In my opinion, I think he did really well.
mm-hmm.
Um, he medaled. He was on the podium in both. Um, I think he was gold and silver, and and then we've had definitely. I remember, for instance, there was a situation with one black belt, but there may have been we have people that travel and come through the school a lot, but
Mm-hmm.
man, is it a testament to his game, or is it just how bad the black belt was? You know what I mean? That's why when I hear students say stuff like, "Oh, I tapped this guy" or something like, "Oh, I don't care." Like that guy may be awful,
Mm-hmm.
but the guy was okay. and he just, he totally ripped him apart, and he hangs really well with people that are generally his rank.
Mhm.
So he opened up his game. He started playing more jujitsu from top and bottom rather than just always out wrestling people. And I mean, blue belt, he goes to Orlando Open, gi no gi, he's gold and silver. All right, that's solid. Couple that with he's got such a good attitude. He's really positive. He's optimistic. He's a tough
Mhm.
guy. If I tell him to stay in for 10 by 7 minute rounds on an open mat, he'll do it. And so he's really coachable too. So I was like, man, it's time for him to get his purple belt for sure.
Mm.
Yeah, it's almost unfair to keep him at blue belt, like sandbagging him.
Mhm.
That's a little different. But I think that the with the stripes, it's not nearly as big of a deal as a belt, but I'm sort of looking for the same thing. I just
I
want to see some progression.
I kinda wanna take a step back a little